you are on this very planet that Chukwokika Biama created to his glory. We welcome you to another explosive exposition of the very fraudulent contraption, the very diseased abomination that the British created for the enslavement of the children of light. We have come to destroy. We have come to render asunder. We have come to decimate that very tower of darkness, that very zoological republic, that very cesspit of iniquity and of evil. We have come that the blind may see. We have come that the deaf may hear. We have come that even those who through no fault of theirs, but as a result of having subjected themselves to a very disastrous educational system in the zoo, they have become stupid. Here we have come to enlighten and to educate without any apologies to anybody, without mincing words, without fear before our enemies, determined and resolute, indestructible, and the precipitous collapse of the zoo is inevitable. Absolutely inevitable. The devil may try all it can. Those who go before them to peddle falsehood, those who go to work for them, those who are the workers of darkness and of iniquity, we can assure them that we are resolute, we are determined, and there is nothing anybody can do to stop this very invade as many times as you like, kill as many people as you like, propagate falsehood after falsehood as many times as you like, buy up every media space in the zoo, go and connive with people in the diplomatic circles abroad, eyebrow consultancy firm in the world, select some diplomats in the zoo and bribe them. Select those you send to the key countries around the world. None of these things you're doing is capable of stopping us. It doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter what you write. It doesn't matter the type of chatter you have behind our backs. All those things you're doing is a complete and utter waste of time, because Biafra must come. There is nothing anybody can do about it. That is why we preach this gospel. That is why we propagate this very message of redemption. That is why Elohim said that Biafra will come. You will not fire a bullet, but Biafra will come. Because Chukwokika Biama has gone before us. And you will hear what will happen to the zoo in weeks and months to come. This is 1 year, 2020. They will never, ever, ever in their lives forget. It does not matter what the enemy does, is irrelevant. Buy over Twitter, buy over Facebook, bribe the British High Commissioner to Nigeria, bribe the US Ambassador to Nigeria, department in America. But there is one thing I want all of us to understand this very evening. We are facing a very formidable array of enemies, both external and within. And we are going to overcome each and every one of these obstacles. That I can assure you. That they may know that the God we worship is an invisible God, not a God that was wrought by the hands of men. For we do not worship idol, and we can never ever worship idol. Is impossible. This very family, this IPOB, belongs to the Most High. And that is how it's going to be until Biafra comes and beyond, to eternity. This evening, I want to place it on record that our enemies are intensifying their attack against us from every corner. I am not saying this as lamentation or complaint. I am only trying to prepare our people for what is to come. You are being prepared for what is to come. The time has come to separate the chaff from the wheat itself. Our march is very, very near. The enemies are trembling, they are quaking, they are doing all they can to try to stop us. But they have failed very woefully, and they will continue to fail. But I want to tell you that we are getting attacks from everywhere all over the world. And very soon, they will buy over some of you. They will buy some of you over. The spirit of Oba, Biasika, and Ifajuna are still in some of you. When the time comes, they will buy you over. I am not doing this program tonight to ask all of you to be strong. I am doing it to remind you, not that if they succeed in buying you over, you're not going to stop what we are doing. You can't. You cannot. Not in a trillion years. But I need you to appreciate one very simple fact. That at the end of this very race, everybody will testify that indeed Chukwuokike Abiama, the same God of Israel, of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the same God of Ehiri in Aguleri, the same God of Umweri, the same God of Ora Eri, the same God of Owe Eri, the same God of Arochukwu. Not to be nobody, the true God, one true God. You will know that indeed, not only is he omnipotent, that same God is the owner of this very agitation. No human being can stop it. We have enemies, and we need to be very, very careful, both within and without. Very, very careful. The next 2 weeks will be very pivotal. Next 2 weeks will be very, very important in the life, or should I say, in this very mission that we have embarked upon. The devil will do everything. And you are going to watch spectacularly how we are going to destroy and shame the enemy. That at the end, every glory and adoration will belong to God and not to man. Now let us go and tell you what is happening that some of you do not understand. I want those of you who are hardcore, those who were chosen before you were born. There were some people who were chosen before they were born to agitate for Biafra restoration. This is a message for you. Those who from their mother's womb they were born to do this very work. You must be very, very strong. Because Biafra will open the eyes of black people all over the world. Because Biafra will mean that blacks from America, blacks from the Caribbean, from Southern America, they will all flood into Africa. It will be like the time that Yeshua was born. Biafra is like a light, a beacon. They will follow it. They will say, let us go and see what is happening there. That is what these neo-colonialists do not want. They don't want Biafra to come. I am telling our people so they understand. The mountains, I didn't say one mountain, the mountains in front of us that we need to overcome. And for us to overcome it, we need to be very strong mentally, mental strength. Just like when you're doing anything in life, and it appears as if you are being buffeted from everywhere. That is the time that you no longer rely on willpower or your muscles. You go to your brain to endure and to persevere and to keep going until you overcome. That is the stage we are in right now. To make sure that our brain is in gear to confront everything the Janjaweed has to throw at us. We don't have money. Their budget is over $20 billion to fight us. They can bribe Facebook. They can buy them off.
They can do anything they like. They can come to some of you and bribe you off. They can promise you what you've never had before. They can give you maybe a house in Dubai. They can promise you a vehicle. They can tell you, oh, we'll make you vice president. They can promise you anything to make sure that you're like them. But this very IPOB, this very hardcore is not going to move. And I will tell you why we can't move.
We have tried to live in Nigeria designed by Great Britain and handed to us. We have found it difficult to live in that Nigeria. We have fought a civil war, killed so many people, and still we have the same problems reoccurring. Perhaps the time has come to revisit the very foundations of Nigeria.
Nigeria is an evil entity, very, very satanic. You want to change the narrative. It's IPOB, they're the aggressors. I saw some women, was it yesterday? Give them their Biafra. We don't want to die. Look at murderers calling other people murderers. Can you believe such nonsense? The Fulani leaders, you cannot win. You cannot defeat IPOB. You people were the ones that established many terror organizations in Nigeria in a bid to overwhelm the country and take over the territories for your Fulani people. IPOB became a stumbling block to that very janjaweed expansionist tendency. True or false? Am I lying? You were ruling Nigeria before, doing everything you like, controlling NMPC, controlling the seaport, customs, everywhere you ever. Now, finally, because you felt that you subdued everybody else, now you can now march on with your foot soldiers into the east, because you've taken over Yoruba land. Of course, I know that very well. You came and we said, no, you can't come into this land to take it. Come and do your business and go. You said no. Now, because we defeated Mietiala, you now brought in police and army with official uniform, official badge to come and kill people. And I also want to remind Twitter, because they're listening. Twitter, please. Do you know that in the Nigerian army and police, there are terrorists there? Are you aware that Nigeria actively recruited terrorists, killers and murderers and rapists, and gave them army and police uniforms? Are you aware of that? How can anybody, Yoruba journalists, how can you people in your infantile stupidity refer to Nigeria as having an army or Nigeria police? Or where are those terrorists that they conscripted into the Nigerian army and Nigerian police? Where are they? People without shame, where are they? I'm asking you. Fulani, you want to change the narrative? Of course not. They want to put the blame of insecurity in Nigeria on IPOB. Can you believe that? Can you believe these people? Can you believe them? Can you believe these people? And luckily, as God will have it, they are slaughtering themselves in the north. But IPOB securing the east are the ones to be blamed for the insecurity in the east. There is a clip I want everybody to play, please. Who opposed them opened his mouth and said, I invited the army to come into Olo. There was nothing happening. Fulani, who opposed them gave Fulani land in Olo to do Ruga, Fulani settlement. And we said no. We drove the Fulani murderers and terrorists away. Who opposed them now invited his friends, his masters from the north, to bring in their army and heavy machinery into Olu to kill us. That was how all these things started. All of you have forgotten. Black people in this UG, black, you have all forgotten the genesis. The same way that all of you that are blaming Boko Haram is a terrorist group, Boko Haram, what they're doing. But when Nigerian police were busy killing their leader and killing everybody else, all of you were just there drinking Fradununu or doing betting on Chelsea versus Man U or Liverpool versus Man City. Nigeria army and police will go out and commit atrocity upon atrocity. All of you will be there, you keep quiet. Any day, those people out of anger rise up and retaliate. All of you baboons and monkeys will start writing rubbish. Do you know why? Because you have no conscience, you have no soul, you're a black person, you are the embodiment of evil. Is the truth. I don't care who bans whoever or whatever, I don't give a toss. I must preach the truth. Black people are wicked. By nature, very wicked people. That is why you forget the atrocities that your police and your army always commit. You forget. In a twinkle of an eye, you forget. Our army, our police. Now listen to me very carefully, please. You are blaming ESN. Whereas it is the same Fulani terrorists masquerading as headsmen that are responsible for orchestrating all the insecurity in and around Nigeria. Fulani, you have Boko Haram. Fulani, talking about insecurity in the east. Hey. Whereas 91 people were slaughtered yesterday. Yesterday, they were killed yesterday. You have the guts. You people have no shame. You have the guts to stand up and be talking about insecurity in the east. And you're a senator from Kebbi State or Kebbi, whatever they call it. And 91 of your constituents were slaughtered. You didn't see it. You are talking about east. Fulani, who formed Boko Haram. Fulani, who formed ISIS in West Africa province, ISWAP. Fulani, who formed Miyetti Yala. Fulani, who formed Ansaru. Fulani, who formed these headsmen and bandits you claim are foreign. Fulani, who brought out murderers and killers and terrorists from prison and gave them military and police uniforms. It is you people. You have now spread them around the country, causing mayhem, abducting people from schools. These are the same place. Hi, these people there. Ha, Fulani, you think everybody's as stupid as you are? You go, you kidnap students from their schools in the north, you get ransom, you buy more arms, you embolden yourselves. You have the guts to conduct a live press conference talking about insecurity in the east. Don't people have shame? Anyway, you don't. Who are the bandits, or should I say terrorists, taking hostages of school children and demanding ransom? Are they not Miyetti Yala, Miyetti, the chief negotiator? Who are the people destroying farms, raping and killing their victims daily around Nigeria? Fulani. Fulani. You know what? How they manage to convince some of you is what I find astonishing, despite the overwhelming evidence. How they
before you, proud to be a servant of such a heroic people. Today I stand before you to proclaim that our heroic youth in the various fronts have turned the tide of this war. They have smashed all enemy offensives directed at our destruction. In the air, they have destroyed systematically the sinews of Nigeria's military might. The Biafran Air Force, small as it is, has stopped the entire oil flow of Nigeria from the mainland west. All protestations to the contrary by the British Broadcasting Corporation and Harold Wilson are mere wishful thinking. Our gallant boys are men tempered of steel. They have wrested the initiative from the Gawan enemy, and the Nigerian hordes are in trepidation and on the point of rout. The confusion of the enemy in the battlefields is only matched by the confusion in his home. Fight on, brave boys, fight on, heroes of our fatherland. Pursue the enemy, harass him, destroy the invader. March on, brave boys, now that victory is in sight. March on and hasten the disintegration of the enemy already set in motion. March on, young men.
The foundation for the liberation and independence of Biafra has been laid by this government, and it is very, very strong. We build this particular foundation of the liberation on solid rock. Are you not seeing it? We are not shaking. I am standing very, very strong, making sure that I'm taking the bullet that they are firing at Biafra people, because their target is you. They believe that once they take Mazen Amdekan out of the way, they will come for all of you. That is exactly what is happening in other parts of Nigeria, because nobody is there to stand on the way for them. And they are annihilating people, killing them, sending them to IDP camp. I told them, you see this face, okay, deceive very well. To deceive you. The momentum of the Biafra liberation today have necessitated all the discussion you see. Everybody is talking. Release Mazen Amdekan. Why are they keeping him? Some of them claim that he was not fighting the way I'm fighting, but you kidnap him. Some of them are now addressing him as a gentleman. But you went and they kidnapped a gentleman. They say, oh, he's more reasonable. He's not, but you kidnapped him. What were you thinking? All of them contributed money. When Mazen Amdekan was speaking, it was their headache. They couldn't sleep every day. Oh, Mazen Amdekan, he's destroying Alibo. Oh, Mazen Amdekan, he's doing this, he's doing that. Today, Mazen Amdekan is no longer destroying Alibo. Mazen Amdekan is no longer causing problem. Mazen Amdekan is no longer is the good man. Is the only man now that is very reasonable. And I have not even started. Because you see what Agaku Nigeria Igwe. Agaku Nigeria Igwe. And you know the next level is by taking all their terrorist barracks, taking all the government houses. That is the next level we will go, because it is part of the defense of our land. These places are places where the attack against our people are being planned.
anyị wee debe ya onye si na agata anyị ahụhụ ma ọ bụ na anyị fee arụsị anyị wee na-efe arụsị iwe were iwe gị na ọnụma gị wee bịa leta anyị ụmụ anyị wee na-anwụsị ụfọdụ nọ n'ụzọ ije ha anaghị alọta ụlọ ọzọ nne na nna wee na-ata ahụhụ wee na-ata ikikere eze nwaanyị kunie ka ọ gaa ubi gaa rụọ ọrụ Fulani chiri ehi bata ebe ala gị niile n'iyi okwu ebepụ ya isi anyị bụ ka anyị kpọkwa onye nwe anyị n'ugwu Awụsa ahụ ejide anyị wee gbuo ihe ọbụla anyị mara aka n'ime ha si maka ha aga n'ihu elekwa ọdụ ụgbọ mmiri n'igwe ọcha bụ ememiri agha nke dị na Kalaba otu aka ahụ anyị na-ala nsọ ebe Biafra bụ ndị kọstọm sokwenye anyị n'etiti anyị anọghị n'ime mmiri kama kọstọm juru ebe niile ha wee na-ata anyị ahụhụ anyị kwuo ekwesịpụta anyị ka kpọchie anyị kwuo ekwesịpụta anyị ka gbagbuo anyị onye nwe anyị na Chineke na nke bi n'igwe ọ bụ ụzọ dị anya ka isi wee hụ ndị iro anyị n'anya wee karịa ndị nke gị akwa anyị bụ ụmụ Chineke akwa ọba aha ka anyị na-aza akwa ọba anyị nwe na-aza ike Chukwu akwa ọba anyị nwe na-aza amara Chineke akwa ọba anyị nwe na-aza Chisom akwa ọba anyị nwe na-aza Chizọba nna nke dị nsọ onye ime eluigwe dịka otu onye iro bi na anyị bụ ụmụ gị bịa ka iwe zọpụta anyị bịa ka iwe napụta anyị n'aka ọjọọ ihe bịa ka iwe lụọrọ anyị ọgụ bịa ka iwe tịtụ ozu ọ bụ ogo nwa mgbe emilere Goliat Chineke nna nke igwe wee memiri Fero sikwa otu a mee ka Fero bụ guzo n'ihu ụmụ ndị IPOB ka o wee taa akwụkwọ ikuni ọtọ ọzọ ị ga na-edu anyị n'ụzọ niile nke ezi omume ọ bụla adịghị na anyị na-aga ndagwurugwu onyinye ọnwụ ọ bụ ogo nwa bụ ekekere eluigwe n'ụwa onye ọbụla kere gị nweghị mmalite nweghị ọgwụgwụ kama anyị onwe anyị bụ anọkwa ahụ ofu ụbọchị anyị ga-anwụ n'ezie kama marakwa na okwu gị na-anọgide ego mgbe ebighị ebi ọ bụ ya mere anyị ji were gị n'anya isi anyị wee na-asị nna nke dị nsọ bịa ka iwe gosi anyị Biafra na ndụ na-abụghị n'ọnwụ bịa ka iwe mee ka ebe gị na amara gị wee kpuchiri anyị ka uwe bịa ka iwe zọpụta ndị nke gị bịa ka iwe mee ka Biafra wee bịa ka anyị na-ewetụta na nsọpụrụ na ịja mma site n'aha gị onye bụ Chukwu abịa ma
Okay, because we were able to avoid the situation that if it had happened in court today, it would have been a deviation from Section 36 of the Constitution, which guaranteed every Nigerian the right to fair trial. The prosecution was forcing a situation on the court today that trial should continue or should proceed today. But our position was this, which comports with the law, that we have not had any opportunity. We have made this very clear. It is not about having access to our client. We do have access, but our access is monitored, hampered to the point that we are unable to discuss with him within that zone of confidentiality that is guaranteed between a lawyer and his client, and that enhances the defense we shall prepare to properly defend him against charges that carry the death penalty. So our position comports with the law, with Section 36 of the Constitution, that unless fair hearing can be guaranteed, no Nigerian can be subject.
Good evening, Biafrans. Welcome, Biafrans and lovers of freedom, friends of Biafra. We welcome each and every one of you this evening on this program here on IPOB Western Cape Media TV. I welcome you in the name of Chukwu Kabiama Premihenine. As I welcome you, I want you to welcome others. Welcome your friends, your family, and all of us of freedom who reside around you. Welcome both enemies and friends alike. Everyone and everybody is welcome to this program on this platform this evening. As you are joining us, fellow Biafrans and lovers of freedom, you do us good to share this program this evening. Share the program on all the platforms you belong. Share it on your WhatsApp, on your group, on your Facebook, on your YouTube, on your Twitter handle, on your TikTok handle, on your Instagram. Share it everywhere, because the message we come to preach this evening is a message of freedom, message of redemption, and message for the restoration of the sovereign state of Biafra, and everybody and everyone need to hear our message this evening. So share the program, like the program, comment on the program. It is necessary that you do. So this evening we've come here to do the job Chukwu Okeabiama sent us to do. We are not here for saga, neither are we here for propaganda. We are not here to make you to like us. The only thing we do here, and that is the business we have here, is to speak the truth and nothing but the truth. We do not care about the consequences. We are not afraid of the consequences of speaking the truth. But we are afraid to fail to speak the truth. So if we can speak the truth, we are fulfilled. Whatever comes is not important. The fact remains that we speak the truth and we stand by it, because truth is life. Dịka ndị Igbo si kwuo sị, na eziokwu bụ ndụ. So I welcome you this evening as you seated in your various locations to listen to us this evening. I want you to know that we are not gonna take you for granted. We appreciate you. We appreciate your company. We appreciate your time that you are going to spend with us this evening. And we ask you to continue to invite people to this program this evening. We respect you. That is why we ask you to always comment and share your views and your feelings regarding the topic we have every time we come here. So this is IPOB Western Cape Media TV. Here we speak nothing but the truth. We are fearless. We are without fear or favor, and we are fearless before our enemies. We are not here to represent any individual, but to represent and to defend our fatherland, Biafra. Because for us, it is Biafra today, tomorrow, and forever. If you are offended by our resolve, we have no apologies for that. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra IPOB worldwide, and his position is incontestable. IPOB is here to restore Biafra, and we are not going to be swayed until Biafra is restored. Welcome to IPOB Western Cape Media TV, saying it the way it is. Yes, because truth is our hallmark. Because we are fearless, standing before our enemies. So we are here this evening to do the job of Chukwu Okeabiama Premihenine without fear whatsoever. And I want you to know that we are live on all our social media platforms this evening. I want you to know we are live on our Facebook page, IPOB Western Cape Media TV. We are live on our YouTube page, IPOB Western Cape Media TV. We are also live on our X, IPOB Western Cape Media TV. And also, you can also reach us on our WhatsApp line this evening. You can reach us on our WhatsApp line this evening. The number is passing through the screen. You can look at the right up and you will see the number, our WhatsApp number, which is open. You can always contact us live on this program this evening. It is open for you to call in. So if you think you have anything to say or contribution to make on this program this evening, you can call in. The number is there on the screen because this is our own. We own this together. This program is our program. So whatever we hear, we are open for criticism. We are open for advice and whatsoever. So be free to call in if need be. So I welcome you, fellow Biafrans, this evening. And my greetings coming from you this evening from my coordinator, Mazino Centralia. Mazino Centralia is the IPOB Western Cape coordinator. Mazino Centralia is the one representing Mazinam Dekano here, both in body and in spirit. Mazino Centralia is the one who is pushing, working hard, making sure that this zone does not go beyond. Mazino Centralia has sacrificed everything that he knows how to sacrifice, his money, his time. He also put his personality on the line for this work that Chukwu Kiabema has sent him to do on this part of the world. And I want you to know that the enemies are not asleep. They have created their own parallel IPOB here on the Western Cape. And when I say the enemies, I don't mean Nigerian government. I mean the DOS, the dogs, who has created parallel IPOB here to interrupt the good work that Mazi Innocent Yalia is doing on this part of the world. So I want you to be on guard against anything that may come from that side. Like I already told you, the name of our coordinator is Maz Innocent Yalia. And any other person parading himself in this regard is a criminal, he's a scammer, and a traitor. And I want you to treat him as such. So my greetings is coming from you this evening from the coordinators we have on this side of the world, IPOB Western Cape Zone coordinators. And also greetings coming from you from the executive of IPOB Western Cape Zone. I want to assure you one thing, fellow Biafrans, that on this side part of the world, IPOB Western Cape Zone, men are determined that Biafra must be restored. Men are determined that Biafra must be restored in truth, in harmony. Here we are followers of Mazinam Dekan without apology. We adhere to the IPOB code of conduct and we follow it to the letter. We do not do anything on this zone without first consulting with the IPOB code of conduct. And that is why we are exceptional. That is why we are different. That is why our enemies are envious of us, because we are standing on the path of truth. We cannot disrespect Mazinam Dekano because he's not here. We are not sycophants. We cannot only respect him when he is here and we scream our leader, Onyensi. But immediately he is gone or he's taken away, we stand against what he represents. IPOB Western Cape is standing with Mazinam Dekano, both in spirit, both in body. We are with him all the way, and we respect him whether he is here, whether he is not here. The question is, the truth is that we must always respect Mazinam Dekano, and we must always listen to him. That is why we are who we are. So I welcome you to this program this evening. And my name is Mazi Onyebuchi. Mazi Onyebuchi is your host, and I am the Parklands Unit Coordinator. And also, I say to you this evening, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. To some of you, depends where you are viewing us this evening. So I welcome you. I want you to know and understand that we are not afraid of anybody. We are not afraid to speak the truth. We are only afraid not to speak the truth. That is one thing that is sure. We are not afraid to speak the truth, but we are afraid not to speak the truth. So we don't care whether you are happy with the truth that is coming from here. The point is that if you find yourself in this platform on this platform this evening, I want you to count yourself lucky because you are a chosen. Because this platform is only kept and reserved for the chosen ones. Because here it is only truth that prevails, nothing more, nothing less. We are not here to paint you, to make you to be happy so that you come back tomorrow. No, we are here to tell you the truth because that is reason we are on this space, social media space, at this point in time where when our struggle is passing through a lot, because you must understand and agree with me, at the point we are now, the struggle is passing through a lot. A lot of things are happening on this struggle, and this is time we must be dedicated. We must rededicate ourselves back to this struggle. So many people who has taken oath to restore Biafra have fallen out. They have fallen out already. So if you are still a believer, still following, if you are still an ardent listener and follower of Mazen Kanu to restore Biafra, then you are a chosen one. So I thank you for joining me this evening. And I want you to understand that our focus is always on the restoration of Biafra. That is why our topic this evening says it's all about the Biafra restoration. Everything you see playing out today, both in the life of Mazen Kanu, both in the life of every agitator, is because of Biafra. So we cannot do anything without talking about the restoration of Biafra. And every experience we're gathering is for our own good. So that tomorrow, if Biafra eventually restored, we must not play with it. We must always remember that people paid sacrifices. People give their lives for Biafra to be restored. A lot of dehumanization, a lot of things happen for Biafra to be restored. So nobody should joke with that nation, Biafra, when it comes in the future. It's not going to be a place when one man will try to take what belongs to all. Biafra should be for all, because each and every one of us contributed both in blood and sweat for Biafra to be restored. So the country Biafra should be for all. It will not be for a few people. It should not be for the minority. In Biafra, minority will never minority will never rule over majority. No. Biafra must be for all. Because each and every one of both those who are not officially in the struggle are paying the price for Biafra restoration. So Biafra should be for all. Nobody should be bigger than anybody in Biafra. So I thank you for joining this evening. And it has always been about Mazen Kanu, how you know, the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu calls have been coming from every angle. Every angle. Everybody is calling for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Everybody. It has become a trend now. There's no day that will pass that someone will not rise up to call for political solution, for settlement. Because the truth is that at the end of everything, we're still gonna come and sit around the table. Because the truth is that Nigeria does not have anything against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They have proven it beyond every reasonable doubt that they do not have anything whatsoever against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. However, they are doing everything they are doing because Nigeria is a lawless place, a lawless country. They do not obey the rule of law. Court judgment in Nigeria is just for formality. It is individuals outside the court that determines the outcome of how things are being run in Nigeria. The Constitution of Nigeria is only written on a piece of paper, but it is not followed. If you look at it, Nigeria is a federating unit in the Constitution of Nigeria. But in actual sense, it is not. Nigeria is a scam. Nigeria is a lie coupled together by the British for the enslavement of the children of light. And that is why our generation said that this shall be the end of everything. That we will continue to fight. Where our fathers stopped, we picked the arm from there. We picked the courage from there. We picked everything from there, and we determined to end it. Because we have gone through the research, and we have researched about Nigeria, coming to conclusion that Nigeria is irredeemable. Because firstly, the foundation is a lie. And when the foundation is faulty, what shall the righteous do? The only thing that you do when a house or a building, when it has a faulty foundation, what do? For those who are engineers, they will tell you that the best option is to knock down the building and start from the foundation, rebuilding it. And some will tell you, okay, they can underpin it and all that stuff, but it depends how faulty the foundation is. The faulty of Nigerian foundation is beyond underpinning. You cannot underpin anything because it must collapse, and it has collapsed. So we have come to make sure that Nigeria does not continue to live a lie, because it has deceived a lot of generation. A lot of generation has come believing that Nigeria is going to be well, believing that Nigeria, we can work things out. But the point is that every component of nations that made up Nigeria are tired of Nigeria. The only reason Nigeria is still standing or is still existing or is still one country is because it is the call for the disintegration of Nigeria is coming from the Biafran. If the call for the disintegration of Nigeria is coming from the northern Nigeria, it would have been disintegrated long time ago. If it is coming from the Westerners, it would have been disintegrated long time ago. The reason it is so is because we Biafrans, we don't have problem. We are Republicans in nature. We do not believe in forcing people forcing people to be or belong to a group of people they don't want to. We believe in freedom of choice. So we would have supported any other region that would stand up to call for the disintegration of Nigeria. We as Biafrans wouldn't have problem with it. We would have supported, okay, if that is the case, give them whatever they want. But the reason why it is difficult is because the North and the West are the same people. They love enslavement. They love enslaving people. They like when people is under them. That is why they love when people prostrate to greet them. To prostrate is part of their tradition and culture. They prostrate flat on the ground, on the floor, to greet authority or someone perceived superior than them. But in Biafra, in that part of the world, in Biafra land, we do not believe in prostrating on the floor for somebody. We do not believe that we must prostrate for you. And we do not prostrate for people. We greet you standing up, because all men are equal before Chukwu Okike Abịama pụrụ ihe niile. So that is why it is still difficult for this Nigeria to disintegrate. The only reason Nigeria is still standing today is because it is Biafrans that want Nigeria, or that officially want Nigeria disintegrated. The rest are still hiding because of what they are enjoying, because of what they are gaining from Nigeria. So they don't want to come out and say, oh, we are not interested anymore. But as Biafrans, we shall continue to push, we shall continue to request, we can continue to make consultations, we shall continue to use every mechanism to make sure that Nigeria is disintegrated, that children of light, children of Chukwu Okike Abịama may go their way and serve him in truth and in spirit. So this evening, like I said, it is going to be about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. It's going to be about him. About him, because it's always about him. We shall continue to talk about him and how to set him free, because that is where we are today. Now, I want to bring a video for us now.
To you viewers, let's begin.
Now listen. I want us to listen to this video and let's hear what these people had to say about the issue surrendering Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and the way forward. Because now it has always been, how do we progress? How do we move from where we are to where we're supposed to be? Because the truth is that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not supposed to be where he is today. After series of courts, others releasing him. And another thing is the nature in which he was brought back to Nigeria. It has rid Nigeria every right, because you cannot build something on nothing. You cannot build something on nothing. Like I always said, when it is illegal, it is illegal. You cannot make illegal to become legal. It is not possible. When it is faulty, it is faulty. When it is illegal, it is illegal. There is no way you can change it from being illegal to being legal. So Nigerian government is standing on illegality. And that is why, after 3 good years, they have not found Mazi Nnamdi Kanu guilty. They have not proceeded forward. They have not progressed on this case. It has always been going around the circle. And the question now is, for how long shall we continue to go around the circle? Now, for how long shall we continue to go around this circle? For he who go back doing the same thing, expecting different result, is nothing but a fool. Nigerian government has proven that they are foolish, that they are fools, by doing the same thing for the past 3 years. Do you know how many times they have changed, they have amended charges against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? Something that is unheard of. You keep amending charges every time. You amend, and the court keep accepting. That is why I told you that Nigerian court is nothing but a formality, and they are proving it this time. You know one thing? Nigeria is willing to destroy themselves because of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Biafra. And that is exactly what they are doing. Destroying every law and every rules in their land because they want to get at Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and Biafra at large. That is why they have destroyed the proceedings of the court. They have destroyed the sacredness of the courts because of one man, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Nigeria is willing to destroy everything. Look at how they went against their own laws, their own constitution, their own treaties to go to Kenya to kidnap Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Has it not told you that Nigeria is destined to crash? Nigeria is destined to crash. And they have not repented until now. They are still hell-bent. They are willing to destroy even more things. If you look, several people, like in the past, recently has come out to call for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Both international organizations, both governments of the world, some of them has come out to question the incarceration of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They have come out to condemn it and ask Nigeria to do what? To toe the path of peace. But do you know why Nigeria government is still adamant? Maka ndị Igbo si na nkịta ọnwụ na-akpọ oku ada n'isi nsi. Nigeria is destined to damnation, and the path to that damnation is through Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and they are on highway. So now I want you to listen, because this is not Biafran regular people. This is Nigerians. This is Nigerian station, Nigerian channels, and these are Nigerian journalists doing their job of journalism, analyzing, and in some extent advising Nigeria to heed to advice before it is too late. Let this video played the other day, not long ago, but let us listen to this video and see what it's all about.
What's trending? Leader of the indigenous peoples of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, caused a frenzy at the Federal High Court in Abuja on Monday after his bail request was denied. Kanu has been in detention over alleged treasonable felony. While reacting to the ruling, Kanu, who was visibly angry, accused the federal government of violating the Constitution and other international treaties following his forceful rendition to Nigeria. He also called the Prosecution Council, Boyega Awomolo, a terrorist for conducting a trial in violation of the international treaty. Let's take a look.
Anybody standing in trial or coming to try me is a terrorist. That's what their law says. Section what me? As simple as that. Section 2, subsection 3F of Terrorism Prevention and Prohibition Act. That's what it says. Any court considered to try me is committed an act of terrorism. Yes. It's very clear. You cannot violate a treaty that Nigeria entered into and then come to try that very person is not done anywhere in the world. So you must be aware of that. So that is why there is all these ridiculous delays. That is what Supreme Court said. I did not jump bail. My home was invaded. They came to kill me and I survived. They came to Kenya to kidnap me, brought me back to this country and seeking to try me, which the law says cannot happen. You cannot violate a treaty that Nigeria entered into and then hope to stand on that illegality to conduct a trial is not done anywhere in the world. And what happened in my case? Nobody had, there's no exception. No exception whatsoever. That's what the law says. Section 12 of the Constitution, what does it say? Any treaty ratified by Nigeria becomes law. It's law. You cannot change it. It doesn't matter what they do. All these shenanigans is just pure rubbish. You never stand.
All right, Rufai. I mean, Dr. Abati, I would have, presented that part of the Constitution for him to analyze at this point. But, it's been all over social media that Nnamdi Kanu has now called a federal government, a lawyer, a terrorist. Let me just take some tweets. Let me take this one particular tweet. This person wrote, everyone might not have agreed with Kanu, but it's very obvious that the federal government is only trying to incarcerate him unlawfully for asking for a legitimate right to self-determination after filing some fictitious charges like terrorism, etc. against him. The court acquitted and discharged him of all charges. Now, instead of obeying the court order, Buhari keeps him unlawfully for the next administration of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to continue illegally detaining him since his arrest and unlawful detention. They don't even grant him access to change of clothes. This is pure injustice. They don't want to release him, nor do they wish to grant him bail. And tomorrow they'll tell us there's a rule of law in Nigeria. Injustice for one is injustice for all. I mean, I believe that we have actually dealt with the conversation about his change of clothes and even his health. I believe that they asked the DSS to make sure that, he's allowed change of clothes, he's allowed to his attorneys, he's allowed to, medical attention and all of that. But I don't know what your thoughts are, Rufai, on, his accusations here. I mean, this is not the first time we've heard Kanu speak. I believe just in recent times he's spoken about twice now. But, I think that it is also good to hear from him. I mean, even hearing that he's talking about the fact that they tried to kill him and that he didn't jump bail.
Okay, so there are many parts to this Kanu matter. We all remember what happened, the episode, how he left the country. I said his home was invaded and he left the country, was out. He kept on, making statements, and all of a sudden we all see how he was bundled back in the Buhari style from Kenya. And for watchers of history, we all remember that this is not the first time Buhari is going to do such a thing, and it doesn't make it right. He did that also in the 80s. We remember when somebody was almost put in a crate back to this country before that was scuttled. It's finally back here. He's gone through the legal process. There's been a ruling as regards that. Then the federal government goes back again to court to say, he can do this, he can do that, he can job there. So the trial is still going on. For me, the federal government has a way of handling issues of dissent, which is two things. The incumbent president will say, it's not my problem, let me kick the can down the road to the next president. It was done. I think you remember the case of Asari Dokuba and all of that. But some have the willingness to say, okay, let me even listen to the other part and make peace reign. I'm probably sure President Buhari looked and said, okay, we'll kick it down the road. But you see, the question I want to ask this morning is, any Nigerian truly should come out to tell me that there's been no representative of any ethnic group that has asked to leave this union. Among the three major ethnic groups, they've all asked to leave this union at one point or the other.
Now everyone has a right to self-determination.
With extension to the Ijaws. We remember Isaac Adakaboro in the 60s. Because of unfairness. We remember Sunday Igboho recently. We remember how some of this military top brass were screaming at Rabat after that interregnum when Agu Ironsi was killed. That long weekend when Nigeria had no leader before Yakubu Gowon took over. So all of us had screamed that we are not happy about the way this unit called Nigeria is favoring us. But the question is, should we throw the baby away with the bathwater as regards our screams? No. And that's why I've always said, President Tinubu will have to look for a solution to the Nnamdi Kanu debacle. He still has another 3-4 years. I know he doesn't want to deal with it now. It's not a thing he can kick down the road, like Buhari did. Also, we need to be able to get trade-offs. We want a strong, united nation, yes, as Nigerians, but also we want a nation that listens to other parts. We can talk legalese from today till tomorrow. It's not going to solve the problem. It's a political solution that will solve the problem. Right. The last time we were close to a political solution, Igbo elders went to Buhari. He said he had heard, he didn't do anything about it. At this point in time, there needs to be a solution. Yeah. Once and for all.
Political solution.
Political solution.
Rule of law. I mean, your thoughts are on this conversation, whether or not, he's accurate in describing his detention as unlawful, and the federal government lawyer describing him as a terrorist at this point.
So he appeared before the Federal High Court, and that's Justice Binta Nyako's court. Yes. And by the way, she's mentioned that his lawyers shouldn't file before her, that instead they should proceed to the Court of Appeal. Instead, if they did come back to her again, it would be an abuse of judicial process, a waste of.
Yeah. You're welcome back, Biafrans. Did you heard the analysis from these people, and everything still boils down on what we keep saying. The only solution to what we are seeing today is for Nigerian government to toe the path of dialogue and how this madness could end. Because we have gotten to the point where it is very, very obvious that court proceedings or persecution or whatever method they are using now will not fetch them anything. It is not going to fetch them anything. First and foremost, every one of them agreed that Nigeria broke the law. They believe, everyone agreed that Nigerian government broke the law. And before you talk about how you convict Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, how you try Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, you have to first of all talk about how you got him there. And this is what Nigerian government is trying to run away from. This is the matter that Nigerian government do not want to discuss about. Hence, they keep delaying, they keep using every method of delay to make sure that they keep Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in detention in perpetuity. And that is what we have seen, and we said, no, enough of this madness. Nigerian government must know and understand that they are not dealing with people that does not have sense. We have brain, and our brains are working. And we know that they do not have any way out of this mess they got themselves into. Now, so many people has looked into it, analyzed it very well, and agreed that the only solution available for all parties involved in this case is that through dialogue. Nigerian government must come out to drop every charges, because the courts of appeal quashed all the charges, messed of all the charges, and told Nigeria to cease henceforth from arresting or prosecuting Mazi Nnamdi Kanu on these charges. Can you understand? How can you amend charges for more than 20 times? You keep amending, you keep amending, you keep amending. For how long shall we continue to allow these Alamajaris, these Yoruba demons, to continue to make mess of what we represent? So we want them to know that Buhari committed this crime, and now the baton fell on who? On Tinubu. Now Tinubu has every right and an opportunity to right this wrong. But some people are still not understanding the reason we are here today, dragging this thing. Why it seems that this issue of Mazen Mekano is not making any headway. The reason is because of the man in the helm of affairs currently, which is the president of Nigeria, Tinubu. Tinubu is a Nigerian, and whether we are trying to be politically correct or diplomatic correct or whatever, the truth must be told. And the truth is that Tinubu is doing what he is doing today out of hatred for Ndi Igbo. I will keep lamenting on this thing because I understood this game very well. Look at it. The same way his predecessor Buhari did, he is doing. He used his own gang, his own people, Kabas, all of them Yoruba people from Lagos State. He used them to surrender himself. Think about it. There is no other ethnic group there in the circle of things who could have looked at things from critical angle without hate, without hatred, without all this envy and jealousy that has blocked the heart of a Yoruba man whenever Ndi Igbo is concerned. Tinubu, everybody has called for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And Tinubu know there is no headway on this case. Tinubu understood perfectly that the court of Binta Nyako cannot prosecute this case. He knows. But the question is, why is Tinubu adamant? Why is he silent? Why is he not doing anything to make sure that he solves this case once and for all? So many people agreed that even the Northerners, some of the Northern politicians today, agreed that the way out for Nigeria is through referendum. And the same referendum is what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is asking for. Nobody is a slave to anybody. That is why self-determination is not a crime in anywhere in the world. Because we are born free. We are free-born. Given that freedom as a gift. And no man is supposed to be subjected to slavery. Every man is supposed to be free, exercising his freedom to its fullness. So people are beginning to believe that, oh, it is now time for Nigeria to look at the direction of referendum. I am going to bring it to you. A Northerner, a politician from the North, finally agreeing with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu that the problem in Nigeria has but one formula, which is referendum. Referendum does not mean disintegration of Nigeria. Referendum means that those who are not happy can now exit without fighting, without bloodletting, without too much whatever we are experiencing today. Referendum means that you can decide to remain Nigeria with agreement defined in a very simple terms, not as it stands today, where nobody understood the agreement entered in 1914, which drifted down towards the Nigerian independence, where they agreed for 3 regional regions in Nigeria. But today, has anybody still talk about that 1960 agreement of 3 regions? Nobody talks about it anymore. Now we have created state up to 37. When it was agreed that it is going to be regional governments, that every region must be in charge of whatever they have or whatever they do. They have their own government, they have their own parliament, and then they bring tax to the center. Are we still in that? No. The answer is no. That is why at the end of the day, every right-thinking man would agree that it is referendum that will solve this problem. Now, when we have a referendum, those who want to exit will exit. And those who want to remain and make up Nigeria will now sit down, marshal out, and have a very clear stance how they want their Nigeria to be like. At the end of the day, they may not even be. So many of them believe that Biafrans, not all Ndibo want Biafra. Now, it's time for them to prove it. If at the end of the day, like Mazen Bekano said, Biafrans agreed that they still want to be part of Nigeria, then his hands will be off. Do you understand it now? So now, I just want you to know that it is not a fight. When you said, I want self-determination. That is why Nigerian government has used everything to trap Mazen Bekano, but yet they are still struggling. They are still failing. They have not succeeded. They have not succeeded. So now, before I go on reading this, because now we're going to read some newspaper news. Remember, we're still talking about Mazen Bekano and the way forward. We're still talking about Mazen Bekano and the way forward. How do we get out of this situation where we are today? Everybody is open for negotiation. Everybody is open for settlement, except the Nigerian government, who has not showed any sign that they want peace. Now, I want to bring this news. Let me bring this to our screen. Sorry about that. Now, there's news that Barrister Aloy Jumako. Barrister Aloy Jumako wrote something this evening, and I want us to look at it. Let us look at it. I'll be reading the news. Now it says, reason Nigerian government want the Kanu to remain jailed Aloy Ejimako. Aloy Ejimako, Special Counsel to Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, has said the Nigerian government knows it can't convict the Biafra agitator with the level of evidence available. That is the truth. And that is why, after looking critically at all these things, we said, no need deceiving ourselves here, asking Nigeria to proceed to trial when we know that they do not have enough evidence to back up their claims. Now, you cannot possibly jail someone who is not in Nigeria, but in all the way in UK, agitating or speaking on radio. And now, he has not hired anybody. He has not taken what belongs to another. He has not caused anything, only speaking on the radio. Now you turn back and said he is a terrorist, that you are going to try him and jail him because he was speaking on radio. You can't necessarily succeed in taking this measure. And that is why the Nigerian government is running round the circle, round the circle, round the circle. It's not that they don't understand what they are doing. They understood perfectly that it is beyond them. It is impossible for them to convict Nnamdi Kanu without any evidence, substantial evidence. Now, I will continue to read. He says, to this end, Ejimako said, it's time to end the trial of the IPOB leader. Ejimako noted that Kanu was not subject to judicial trial by ordeal. He stressed that the Nigerian government is aware that convicting Nnamdi Kanu will be impossible with the level of evidence on ground. Kanu was first arrested in 2015 but was granted bail in 2017 but later fled Nigeria to Europe after a military invasion of his residence in Abia State. He later was rearrested wrongly. Now I'm going to correct it. He was not rearrested, but he was kidnapped in Kenya and subjected to an extraordinary rendition back to Nigeria in 2021. Upon his return to Nigeria, the IPOB leader has been through several courts in Nigeria and the United Nations in a bid to secure his release. Despite his moves, the Nigerian government refused to release Kanu amid court rulings granting him bail. However, in a video he released yesterday, the lawyer recounted Kanu's audio rights from when he was first arrested in 2015 up until his kidnap in June 2021 in Kenya. According to Ejimako, if Kanu was guilty, then why is it taking so long to bring him to trial between 2017 till today, which is 8 years? It's not really a judicial trial, but trial by ordeal, trial by fire, imprisonment before conviction. They just want to get much jail time for him because they know that with the evidence available, a conviction will be impossible, and that was made worse with the extraordinary rendition, which I took as a civil violation to a federal high court in Nigeria, and in October 2022, the court gave a judgment that extraordinary rendition was a violation of his constitutional right and awarded a 500 million as damages. The United Nations, which is the World Court, the Nigerian Court of Appeal, the Federal High Court, the State High Court awarded Kanu 1 billion naira from where he had gotten 4 major victories against the Nigerian government, with the latter winning nothing. What more do you need as evidence of what is happening? What is happening? What is happening is an act of persecution, not prosecution. It's time to end it. And on Kanu's behalf, I ask all men and women of goodwill to speak up. Kanu is a poster boy for all the injustices that a great race, the Igbo people, and their cousins in the former Eastern Nigeria subjected to since the founding of Nigeria. These injustices become more public since 2015. They escalated, and how you fight back is not through bullet. That was Barrister Lloyd Michael speaking. Now we're going to go to another one. This one is coming from from newspaper, The Leadership. The Leadership is Nigerian newspaper, and they wrote an article about this. They wrote an article about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and we have to know what they are saying, if they agreed with the rest of the world that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu should be released. Now, the Leadership wrote, time to resolve the Nnamdi Kanu matter. Now, let's go and see. This is coming from a newspaper. This article is coming from a newspaper in the Zoological Republic named The Leadership. Now, let us read and see what Leadership thought about all these things. Now, I read, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu burst into the nation's consciousness as the leader of a bunch of sloganeering and flag-waving youths under the aegis of the indigenous people of Biafra IPOB, which he founded in 2012. The main aim of IPOB, which does not represent the position of the majority of the Igbo, is to restore the defunct separatist state of Biafra. The late Ikemba Nnewi Odumegwu Emeka Ojukwu, who led the secession bid, had described Biafra as a lost cause. That authentic Igbo leader opted for a Biafra of the mind, where the Igbo will be given their due in a united Nigeria. And one thing is that when late Odumegwu Ojukwu made that statement, he did not say, he said lost. When something is lost, it could be found. Not like Peter Obi, who said that Biafra is dead. That means that when something is dead, it means that it is irreversible. It is irrevocable. You cannot bring it back again because it is dead. It is dead. But Ojukwu instead said that Biafra is a lost cause. That means someone is somewhere looking for that which was lost. And who is that person? Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and the IPOB and every individual today who is fighting. There is something they call lost treasure. And you see people going to the forest, going to the tunnels, going places, trying to find that lost treasure because they know it is somewhere. It is hidden somewhere. That is what Biafra is. That is why Ojukwu said it was a lost cause. He knew that someday somebody will come who will say, I want to go after that which was lost. And today we are here looking for Biafra. We are here searching for Biafra, and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is leading, and we are following. So Ojukwu was not wrong when he said that Biafra was a lost cause. Today, we are here to find it. Now we read. Let me continue reading. Now, Kanu got into bad weather with his exabic rhetoric on a United Kingdom registered Radio Biafra named Radio Biafra. He was arrested on treason charges in Lagos, Nigeria on 14th October 2015 and was detained for more than a year, despite various courts that ruled for his release. Civil society faulted his continued incarceration by raising significant human rights issues. They also think that his release could pave the way for dialogue and a peaceful resolution to the long-standing issues in the southeastern region. From the legal standpoint, there are concerns about the legality and fairness of Kanu's arrest and detention, even though his continued detention has been a source of unrest and agitation within the Southeast. Many believe that his release could help calm the situation, reduce protests and violence, and contribute to overall political stability in Nigeria. According to those who push this idea, Kanu's release could also improve relations between the government and the southeastern populace. Beyond these views, there is significant public support for Kanu's release, both domestically and internationally. It is thought in certain quarters that releasing him could address public grievances and demonstrate that the government is responsive to the concerns of its citizens, potentially boosting its credibility and legitimacy in the eyes of the people. On his part, Kanu has been seeking legal means to regain his freedom. However, the recent fundamental human rights suit his legal team instituted against the federal government was dismissed by Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court in Abuja. The name tells you all you need to know. That is why the suit was dismissed. The name Omotosho has just told you all you need to know. All you need to know about it and the reason it was dismissed. Because every Dick and Harry in this globe who knows or who is conversant with the issues surrounding Mazi Nnamdi Kanu would understand that it is nothing but human rights violation of a person. And no right-thinking individual, whether judge or whatsoever your name is, will dismiss any suit demanding for redress. Because the truth is that Nigerian government has committed every violation against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's fundamental human rights. And it is inhuman, it is crime against humanity, it is called genocide for a judge to sit in his dock, or rather in his chamber, to condemn, or rather to dismiss this suit. But the name Omotosho has told you all you need to know, because he's a Yoruba man and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is an Igbo man. That is the simple truth. That is the only reason he was denied the suit. But we shall continue. Then I read, at a just concluded meeting in Enugu, Southeast governors advocated for resolving this matter and pledged to meet with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to discuss possibilities for Kanu's release. Previously, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, has indicated that the detained IPOB leader's offense is difficult and can only be resolved by a competent court of law. Now, this man, this opportunist, who mistakenly found himself in the corridor of George or whatever he's representing, or who found himself as a minister of the Minister of Justice in Zoological Republic, is he not aware that this case has lasted for 8 years without making no headway? For goodness sake, this issue, this case of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has lasted 8 years, and recently Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has been in detention for good 3 years consecutively. What is keeping Nigeria from convicting him or discharging him? If this opportunist called himself Fagbemi, Minister of Justice, if he is right in his senses, is it not enough for him to know, as a lawyer or whatever he is, to know that it is impossible for Nigeria to convict Mazi Nnamdi Kanu after 8 years and still counting? You have not convicted a man that you arrested, and now recently, after 3 years, you have not made any headway in convicting him, but rather you keep adjourning the case. You have adjourned this case for complete 3 years today and still counting. What is this opportunist Fagbemi talking about? If there is any court in Nigeria who has the right, or rather the spine to prosecute this case, is it not time for that court or that judge or whoever he is to come out and take this case and prosecute it, so that everybody will go and rest? Because you have lasted in this case for a long time. We have waited for this case to be over for a very long time, and Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is doing jail time without being convicted. How can you do jail time without conviction? Who can explain that? It can only happen, it could only be possible in the Zoological Republic. It could only be possible when an Igbo man is involved. Because if it is a Yoruba man, he will not be there today. If it is a man from the north, he will not be there today. The only reason Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is left in detention is because he is an Igbo man. That is the only reason. So this man, calling himself Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, is talking jargons, because there is opportunities left open for them as the government who is handling this case to prosecute this case and resolve it once and for all. Yet, it is very, very difficult for them to do. And that is why every right-thinking individual is asking that Nigerian government should release Mazi Kanu as a matter of urgency. Now, I will continue reading. He said, it is pertinent to stress that very few wars end on the battlefield. Kanu's case can explore the wider precincts of natural justice and good conscience while the courts are on it. We disagree with the views of the Attorney General. Thank you. I love this. You know, this article, when I was reading this article, though I have places that I am not totally comfortable, but majorly I love this because they wrote here without reservation. They brought everything to bear. Look at it. After quoting the so-called Minister of Justice. Now let's see what they said. And they said, we disagree with the views of the Attorney General of the Federation based on the fact that Sunday Igboho, his co-separatist agitator from the Southwest, has been forgiven by his offense. Forgiven his offense. Furthermore, other terrorists, many of whom killed Nigerians in their numbers as parts of the agitation for a caliphate, has been radicalized and reintegrated into civil society, even as the loved ones of their victims, including soldiers, are left to mourn their loss, and internally displaced persons, IDP camps. Did you understand what he's saying? He's saying that those people who committed real terrorism, the real terrorists, he started by Sunday Igboho. He said he reminded the so-called Attorney General and the Minister of Justice that Sunday Igboho, a co-separatist agitator. The only difference is that this one is from the West, from the same place with the Attorney General of the Federation. He reminded him that Sunday Igboho was forgiven and set free. Now, he made another reference. He said that terrorists, many of them have spied Nigeria in their numbers, in thousands. Many Nigerians, both soldiers, lost their lives in the hands of these terrorists, Boko Haram. And do you know why? They went and radicalized them, and then after de-radicalizing them, they now reintegrate them back into the society. Did you hear that? Nigerian government now arrest those terrorists, the real terrorists, who has spied a lot of Nigerians, sent a lot of them to IDB camp, made a lot of widows out of soldiers. Today, they are walking freely. But Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who has not spied anybody, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, who has not done anything, is still there in detention. Now, let us continue reading. Now, the article said, notably, despite Kanu's noise on the platform of his radio Biafra, no lives were lost. underline this. Underline this, Biafrans. Notably, despite Kanu's noise on the platform of his radio Biafra, no lives were lost. So what is Nigerian government doing with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu if no lives were lost? If Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has not taken any life, if Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has not fired anybody, why are you tagging him a terrorist? Why are you now charging him, oppressing him, subjecting him, and putting him wherever he is today because you tag him a terrorist? Under what under what justification is he a terrorist? According to this, is it because he's making noise in his platform on Radio Biafra? Is that the reason why he's a terrorist? Well, we are going. Let us continue. Although it was obvious that he irritated those who felt that he was trying to resurrect a dead issue, he nonetheless did not harm anyone in any way. You don't hear that? He did not harm anyone in any way. My people, why are we here? I will continue. Kanu obviously constituted himself into a public nuisance, even among the Igbo, who deliberately ignored him because, as a young man who did not experience the Civil War and the devastation it caused in Igbo land, he was and still is stupidly idealistic. The mainstream Igbo never took note of him until the federal government miscalculated by drawing attention to his incendiary propensity and make him a hero of that full relevance for his arrest and incarceration. His plight was worsened by the pretensions of the political elite in Igbo land, who began to feel threatened by his rising profile. Just as he located himself on the wrong side of the law, politicians won electoral victories using his name and with a pledge to affect his release once in public office. True to type, those politicians never mentioned his name as soon as they were sworn in. This newspaper has consistently classified Kanu as a terrorist. Did you hear that? This is where I said I disagree with these people. If you newspaper could classify Kanu as a terrorist, what is the justification of all these things you put together now? Because you're saying something, you are speaking with both sides of the mouth. You agree that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu did not spy anybody, he did not take any life, he did not he didn't do anything as such. Why are you now classifying him as a terrorist? Oh, let us continue. Let me read it again. This newspaper has consistently classified Kanu as a terrorist, as pronounced by the federal government. We have also observed that the same government had forgiven terrorists who, in their mode of operation, caused more harm to the polity than Kanu would have conceived in his thoughts and actions. From this perspective, we appeal to the president to temper justice with mercy and apply compassion on this touchy issue that has cost the Igbo nation a lot economically through the various sit-at-home incitement by some misguided elements within the zone. We also urge Mr. President Tinubu to seize this opportunity to put the Igbo in his depth for acceding to the plea by well-meaning Nigerians who also think that it is time the nation puts this matter behind it and forge ahead with a project of healing wounds and calming frayed nerves. More importantly, the president must not allow political jobbers in the Southeast to make a capital of this extraordinary humanitarian situation. That is the conclusion. It comes to what we have been saying, that the solution to this thing we are seeing today, or rather we are witnessing today, the solution is what? The solution is let Nigerian government come down from their high horses. Nigerian government is sitting on a high horse. Their ego is too much. They don't want to listen to the cause of people who meant well for Nigeria. Because the truth is that anybody you see today who will come out to call for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, is that person meant well for Nigeria. Because at its stand, what Nigeria is doing today with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is playing with fire. Nigeria is sitting on a gunpowder, and it is getting there. It is getting there. Time will come when Nigeria has itself will understand the damages they themselves keep causing. Because you cannot tell me that all these people who has come out to call for the release of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, that they don't see there's something they are seeing. What I just read for you now was written by Leadership newspaper. It is an article put together by them, not by any individuals, but by this newspaper. And you know what it takes them as Zoological Republic to come out to write such thing. You have forgiven people who have committed atrocious crimes. People who has murdered people in Nigeria. You have forgiven them. You have reintegrated them back to Nigeria. You have given them equal opportunity with everyone, though they are terrorists. But someone, according to the newspaper, who was making a noise on his radio in far away London, is a threat to you. You refuse to release him. People agreed that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has not done anything that warranted him to be punished, to be incarcerated. So if everybody has come out to agree, why is Nigerian government, why is Tinubu and his Yoruba demons, in the name of Attorney General and Minister of Justice, why are they finding it difficult to listen to the voice of reasoning and free Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? You cannot do anything, because he that alleged must be able to substantiate. It is very, very easy for Nigeria to allege. Now it is time for them to substantiate. It is now difficult for them because they are liars. They are liars. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu did not do anything. Now, like I said before, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was calling for referendum to determine way forward. And Nigerian government came hard on him. And that is why today they have put him in detention. But let us see. If anybody agree that referendum is the solution, well, there is a news that is here. It says, and this news was where this was from who? Daily Trust. Yes, Daily Trust. It's a Zoo newspaper. It says, the headline read, referendum is the first step. ACF scribe. Arewa Consultative Forum. So now Arewa Consultative Forum has come out to agree with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu that the only solution forward, if Nigeria is sincere, is referendum. If only Nigeria would agree for a referendum, like I have explained before, referendum does not totally means that Nigeria is going to oblivion. It means that those who will accept Nigeria will accept Nigeria with all their hearts. It means that those who will accept Nigeria understanding what they are into. It simply means that those who will accept Nigeria to be patriotic Nigeria, because at the stand today, there is no patriotic Nigeria. That is the truth. There is no patriotic Nigeria. And the reason is because Nigeria is not negotiated. The referendum means that Nigeria is going to be negotiated. And if Nigeria is negotiated, those who are going to be part of that negotiated Nigeria will now understand what they are getting themselves into. So now this Arewa scribe, Arewa Consultative Forum scribe, agree that for Nigeria to move forward, referendum is necessary. Now let us read and see what he has to say. Now I read, Malam Murtala Aliyu is the Secretary General of the Arewa Consultative Forum, ACF, the Political and Cultural Association of Nigeria, of the Political and Cultural Association of Leaders in Northern Nigeria. Now, let us go. Malam Murtala Aliyu is the Secretary General of the Arewa Consultative Forum, ACF, the Political and Cultural Association of Leaders in Northern Nigeria, in this interview with Weekend Trust, the Matawalen Gombe and former Minister of State for Power and Steel shares his thoughts on the pressing issue of unity and why Nigeria has yet to heal from the war. Now, the question thrown to him was, why are we still here 54 years after Civil War? Now, he said, I personally think that something needs to be done to ensure that we look at things from the same perspective as a country, not from the perspective of a northerner, an easterner, or westerner, or south-south person. Can you call a south-southerner? Not even perspective of religion, be it a Muslim, Christian, or nationalist. We should all look at it as a country, because historically, yes, we were put together, but 50 years is enough for us to blend and appreciate diversity. Now, the question again asks, you talk about coming together to really see how we can improve this relationship. But a lot of people make reference to the 2014 National Conference. Do you think that moment was another missed opportunity? Now, he said, in the first place, the 2014 conference was not conceived fairly. Out of the 400 delegates, only 183 were from the north. Also, most of the government appointees were not from the north. So you had a compromised setup like that, where it was already tilted and the north felt inadequately represented. Secondly, I personally think that when you want to have a country, you have to leave everything open. I think the first thing we should do as a country is to have a referendum on whether we want to be in one country or another before even discussing issues of restructuring. Did you see that? Is you know what Mazen Ekan was campaigning for, or is campaigning for? Is you know what Mazen Ekan said, that everybody want him dead? Is you know the same thing that Mazen Ekan was calling for, that made Buhari to go and kidnap him? Is it not what this same thing that Mazen Ekan was asking for before Nigerian government tagged him a terrorist? He was asking for. He said the same thing that this man said. And I will repeat. Secondly, I personally think that when you want to have a country, you have to leave everything open, including exit. Because only when you put this clause that everybody will be very, very careful how they handle each other. When you put room for exit, nobody will come out to tell other that he was born to rule. Nobody will say to the other part that we don't trust you to rule us. No, when you leave exit door open, nobody will go to one region, make sure that he shut everything down, shut the seaport, shut the industries, shut the government presence, shut the airports, shut everything, and open everything on one side. Nobody will do that. If you leave exit door open. If Nigeria had let the exit door open, Nigeria will not be where they are today, because there will be mutual understanding and there will be trust. And when one feels threatened or unwanted, he will simply request to exit, and nobody will come to kill him for that. Nobody will come to buy him for that. if the exit door for referendum in Nigeria was left open, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and the Biafrans at large wouldn't be where they are today, because they would have gotten what they wanted. But look at it. You said you want a country, and or rather you are building a country, then you went and sealed the door for referendum. The most important thing that you must leave is referendum, because that will put everybody in check. Knowing that if you mess up, if you marginalize the other, he will ask to go, or he will decide to leave you. And that will keep you on your toes. Knowing that every man's right, making sure that every man's right is protected in this union. But in Nigeria, it is not. Now, when you ask them, some of them, they will say, oh, it was Azikiwe. It was Azikiwe, Zik, who rejected for referendum to be added in the Nigerian constitution. And you ask those Mugu, those useless idiots, you ask them today, is that 1960 or 1963 constitution, is it still invoked in Nigeria today? The answer is no. They have been changing Nigerian constitution, but this particular one, they will remind you, you Igbo, you are asking to leave Nigeria, where you are asking for a referendum. But when Awolowo asked for a referendum, it was Zik who said no. It was Zik who kicked against it. It was because of Zik that referendum is not included in Nigerian constitution. But ask these fools, is Nigeria still practicing? Is Nigeria still practicing three regions today? The answer is no. Is 1963 or 1960, whichever way, 1963 constitution, is this still viable? Is it still used in Nigeria? The answer is no. You have amended it. You've been amending it up to today. But when they talk about the most important, which is restructuring, you remind us, which is referendum, you remind us how Zik kicked against it. This is the zoological republic, typical zoological republic. Deceit. They thrive in deceit. And you know how? They deceive themselves. They deceive themselves. But I thank God that even though this man is just speaking, at least we can have something we can fall back on. At least I'm using it now to open your eyes. I'm talking to you now so you know this, that so many people also agree, whether subconsciously, that Nigeria needs, if Nigeria must move ahead, forward, they need to first consider referendum. Because it is only then that true Nigerians, real Nigerians, will emerge. But as it stands today, what we have is nothing but fake Nigerians everywhere, including him that is talking, including Tinubu, who said in the before in 90s that he did not believe in Nigeria. But today, Tinubu is persecuting Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Today, Tinubu is overseeing the affairs of Nigeria. But in the past, he made it public that he do not believe in Nigeria. But the same person who said what he said, Tinubu wants him to go to jail. If there is anybody to go to jail, Tinubu must be the first, because he made the statement first and he do not believe in Nigeria. Probably Mazi Nnamdi Kanu saw that statement and stick to it. So Tinubu, if there is anybody that should go to jail, it is you, because you do not believe in Nigeria first. Now I will read. I think the first thing we should do as a country is to have a referendum on whether we want to be in one country or another before even discussing of restructuring. Then, if we all agree that we are going to be in one country, we can then sit down together and consider what we should restructure. This thing I'm talking is coming from Arewa, not from Biafra. No. This is not Mazi Nnamdi Kanu talking. This is coming from Arewa. It's for you to know that they know the truth. They know. They know the truth. They know the truth. Because they are black people, they are running and they are trying to run away from their shadows. But you cannot run away from this, because the truth is still there persistently, that the only way forward is for us to renegotiate. Talk about our union. Talk about how we want this country to go. Talk about it. Do we want to be together first? If we want to be together, then how do we want to coexist together? These are discussions that must be had, that we must have. But some people are saying that it is not necessary. That is why in the Zoological Republic today, people are buying in their numbers, unaccounted for. That is why insecurity everywhere. That is why anger everywhere. That is why hunger everywhere. That is why starvation everywhere. That is why suicide everywhere. That is why suicide bombers everywhere. That is why terrorists everywhere. That is why agitation everywhere. Because the Nigerian people or the Nigerian government refused to do the needful. We need to renegotiate Nigeria. And how do we start? Referendum is the first step. Now I read, he said, but if somebody is talking about restructuring and at the same time talking about agitation to break away, it won't work. So, the moment we agree that we are going to be in one country, then we can restructure to fit our tendencies, our complicities. It is easy. If after referendum, it is clear that it is not going to be a country, which will be unfortunate, then we should be able to respect the decision of the people, because we can't be talking about restructuring and talking about forming a separate country. Exactly. Do you know what he said here? If after the referendum, it is clear that it is not going to be a country, which will be unfortunate, yes, I agree, then we should be able to respect the decisions of the people. Respect Mazi Nnamdi Kanu's decision to have a referendum. Respect his decision to have a separate country from Nigeria. Respect Mazi Onyebuchi's decision to have a referendum. Respect my decision to have a separate nation from Nigeria. It is about respect. We must have that respect for each other. You can't be talking about restructuring Nigeria why every one of us has lost total hope, faith in Nigeria. Tell me that man who has not lost faith in Nigeria. Show me. Show me one person. Like I just explained to you a few moments ago, that even Tinubu said that he does not believe in one Nigeria. He said he did not believe in one Nigeria. Look at it. Tell me that man today or before in the past who has believed in Nigeria. Nobody. That is why this discussion this discussion is necessary. That is why this discussion is very, very important. This referendum is the most important thing, like it is as important as one needed water in the desert. We need it. Without referendum, there is no way of survival for Nigeria. we need to make, if that this man said, this man said, if at the end of the day people vote to leave Nigeria, let it be. Respect people's opinion and respect them. It is their decision. Like I said before, nobody was born to be a slave to anybody. Every one of us we were born free. And that right to freedom is given to us by Chukwu Okike Abiama. It is not given to us by Tinubu. It is not given to us by Britain. It is not given to us by the Attorney General of Nigeria. No, it is given to us by Chukwu Okike Abiama, the Creator. He created us and gave us freedom. And that is why self-determination is not a crime anywhere in the world. You have the right to determine, like this man is saying, where you want to belong. You have the right to determine how you want to be governed and who you want to govern you. That is your right, fundamental human right. It is not a choice. Now, I continue. He said, I had hoped that by now we would be looking at West Africa as one unit. That is going back to micro-nationalism. If in 1963, 1964, the regions were looking unsatisfactory, oppressive, they were looking too large and unmanageable. There were tendencies and cries of oppression by minorities within each region, which led to the creation of states. From 1967 till now, if we are still talking about going back to the region, then there is a problem. We must look at what solutions we have and then go back to find out what the issues are. Let me give an example with the parliamentary system we are practicing. Suddenly we realized that with the complicities of Nigeria, the parliamentary system may not be the best. Whoever took that decision, it was his judgment at that time. Then we started practicing federal system. The point here is that all of them might be wrong or right. And I am saying not just both of them. All systems can be wrong. America practices presidential system, and I know American legislators that come from their locations to Washington and live in their offices and then go back home after they finish their jobs, not buying SUVs, not building huge estates for legislators. We have a parliamentary system that can also be expensive depending on the mindset of the people. I think that what is important is to really be sincere to ourselves on what can be done. Do we really want to be a country as a people? This question needs to be answered. I mean, asked. You see this question? Do we really want to be a country as a people? This is the most important question that needs to be asked in Nigeria today. There is no time this question needs to be asked other than now. Everyone in Nigeria needs to answer this question. Do we really want to be a country as a people? Do we really need that? Do I really need to be in the same country with the West, with the Yorubas? Do I really need to be in the same country with the Arewas? This is a fundamental question that Nigerian people and their government need to be asking each other today. This is it. And this man really asked this question, and he said, do we really want to be a country as a people? Now, he continued. He said, and if we don't want to be a country, then we can discuss it. But I can tell you, there are no portion of Nigeria that will be better than the whole now. You're a liar. You know, this is how they keep deceiving everybody. They will tell you, oh, if you part ways, it's still gonna be the same because it can't be better. We can be better. You know, the other day, I heard something from one of this guy. The guy is he was speaking on an interview where he was talking, and the issue of it was about issue of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. So he was talking about this Mazi Kanu and the agitation. He made a statement which all of them keep making, deceiving themselves. They knew that it is wrong to make such assertions. He said, oh, that Ndi Igbo wouldn't want to live in Igbo land, that is going to be so small for them, that they are better in Nigeria where they can live anywhere, and you know, very irritating. You know, these people, and they went to school. These people went to school and they are discussing this nonsense. Let me tell you one simple thing to this. Let's even assume, which is impossible. But let's even assume that the so-called Biafra land, okay, this one that talk they narrow Biafra to Igbo land, okay, and you know why? You know how when they narrow this Igbo land, they narrow it to 5 Igbo states. Those 5 carved out 5 Igbo states. They don't put in consideration the other Igbo land that has been carved into Edo, that have been carved into Delta, that have been carved into rivers, that have been carved into Bayelsa, that have been carved into Kogi, that have been carved into Akwa Ibom, that have been carved into all this. How many states in the former Eastern region? They don't talk about it. They only talk about the 5 dots, according to Buhari. Now, let us even say, okay, let us come to that point. If you go to China, China is over 1.something billion people. And if you go to China, you see more of skyscrapers. And what do you think made China to be building skyscrapers? Because of their numbers. When you go to our land today, you see a place that will contain like four, okay, a place that will contain like 4 skyscrapers. One person will occupy it in the name of building a nonsense. If Biafra become a country tomorrow, we look at our population, and now we marshal out the kind of buildings we're building in our land. We now map out the kind of structures we put in our land. And there is no land that is going to be too small for us. Chukwu has not given us our land so that it will not. No, he gave us land that will contain us. And there is no how that over 17 million of Biafrans will live in Biafra. In fact, at the end of the day, We may even have more than 70 million people living in Biafra land, with visitors who may come to live in our land. Do you think that our land will only meant for us? No, it will not be. It is not meant for us alone. We have people will come to live with us in our land. And the same way we will go to other places. So it is anybody that will come and tell you that our land is going to be too small, that we want Nigeria. We are in Nigeria because our land is small. That person is a deceiver. Don't take that serious. Because he's a deceiver, he's a liar. We have enough land, and there is no how every one of us will live in Biafra land at the same time. It is not possible. It has never been written. No countries in the world, nowhere in the world, and all of them are living in their country. And even if all of them decide to live in their country, it will still contain them. So I will continue reading. All the stories that would have done better than this are not true. I disagree. I went to a secondary school in the Southwest, what was then Western region, Odobolu precisely. I was in Odobolu when Ogun State was created, and the competition that wasn't about Yoruba and other people. It was about the Ijebus and the Ebas. Same thing when you go to Abia Okuta. The Ebas segregate among themselves. In the Southwest, Lagosians will tell you they are not part of the Southwest. The reason for all this, let me educate this man. The reason for all this is because of imbalance in the system. For instance, let me use the same Yoruba land as an example. For instance, if tomorrow they have Yoruba as a country, or whatever way they chose to answer, they will make sure that everybody is taken care of. But in Nigeria today, minority rules over majority and controls the majority, which is the problem. The way it is in the West is the way it is in the South, in the East, and the way it is in the North. There is case of imbalance, case of minority ruling over majority, minority making decisions, taking decisions, deciding for the majority. But if you have a country of your own, all the people that made up that country will sit down in all sincerity, discuss and agreed what will benefit everybody, not what will benefit the ruling class, not as it is in Nigeria today, not what will benefit some people as it is in Nigeria today, but what will benefit the entire nations and every citizen of the nation. If the country medical system says that every citizen must go to the hospital free of charge, it will not be for a section of people, it will be for the entire citizens of this country. If they say that school fees is free, it is going to be for everybody. So, but the situation whereby you have people who believe that they are born to rule and others are born to be slaves, you have these issues. So the issue of people will not do well if they separate from Nigeria is nonsensical. It's total nonsense. Allow them to go and regret their mistakes. But forcing them to be in one Nigeria, it is not is not doable. It is not done anywhere. We are human beings. We have rights to decide who we want to live with and who we don't want to live with. Then I will continue to read. He said, there must be a diversion of views anywhere there are a group of people, which means that any societal formation will have conflicts, but our own is unmanageable. And why do you think your own is unmanageable? Because what you call your own is founded on wrong foundation. That is why nobody wants to listen. That is why when you call for agitation, when you call for self-determination, you'll be seen and tagged as a terrorist. That is why when you ask for referendum, you will tag a terrorist. That is why when you said, let things be done the right way, you will be arrested and hunted for. So how is it going to be possible? It is not going to be possible. Now we continue. Our children are jobless. They don't have hope. They are complaining. In that case, do you think that if you create a zone as a country, you will be able to manage these contradictions? This man said, I highly doubt it. How? Which is why I say, why can't we look at the bigger size and its advantages? This is where I have the majority problem I have with those one Nigerians is this their bigger size. Seriously. It pains me to the bone marrow, because if I talk about the most comfortable countries in the world, it is not big countries. It is not those big countries. It is those small countries, those smaller countries. Go to Europe. Talk about all these countries you hear. Talk about Sweden. Talk about Switzerland. Talk about Finland. Talk about Norway. Talk about Luxembourg. Talk about small countries. Some of them are not. In fact, do you know that there are countries in Europe today where there is no homeless people? You can't find any man there who is homeless. They are smaller countries. When it is small, you can be able to rule them. Because when it is big, like Nigeria is, in the hand of black man, it is not going to be possible. It is not going to be manageable. Disadvantages will be huge. If Nigeria is divided into three and in a very smaller portion, people will be able to govern themselves. But these deceivers will come to tell you that the bigger the better. No, the smaller the better. There is result, there is evidence everywhere that the smaller the best. If you cannot handle the big size, opt for small size. Because it is not good for you to say, okay, I want to keep this big size, even when you know you cannot handle it. Why can't you go for the smaller size that you can handle? I will continue. He said, there are governors in their states who, after losing elections, run to Abuja or somewhere else to live because they can't live in their state, which means that if that state were a country, they would be in exile. Can you imagine what a human being is saying, for goodness sake? Look at what a human being is saying. These are the people you share the same country with. After saying beautiful things, look at what he is saying. He's talking like a stark illiterate, a bunch of nothing. Look at it. How can you make such useless assertions? The reason this man, you called former governor, left the state and ran to Abuja is because Abuja, he feel more safe, more comfortable. than his state, because when he was the governor of that state, he failed to put up anything. There is no good road, there is no electricity, there is no water, there is no security, there is nothing. The economy is dead. He ran the country to the floor. That is the reason he left the country and went to Abuja, where he is at least sure that he is safe. But in his states, where he ruled for 8 years, he's not safe. That is the reason. Not because, and it does not mean when you say someone is living in exile, is different from someone is living in another man's land. It is not in exile when you decide to live abroad. Are you saying that I'm in exile? I'm not in Nigeria. Are you saying that I'm in exile? I'm not in exile. So I can decide to live here forever. It does not mean I'm in exile. So someone may decide to leave his country and live in another man's country. It doesn't make him it doesn't mean that he is in exile. So this man, I don't know, but let's continue. He's a Fulani man after all. But suppose you have a large country that you can go elsewhere and stay within your own country with little contradiction. So my take would be that we ought to sit down and not just to learn lessons, but to review the lessons themselves. I think we need to go back to the Civil War and look at the processes that we went through. Look at all the congregations also, and then come back and look at what is happening today and see if we can address it. Then the question to him again, say most of the agitations are coming from the southeast region. Why is that so? He said, we have to make up our minds about building the same country. Afterwards, we can structure the country according to how we want it to run. I personally think the Southeast needs to recalibrate their approach to politics again. When Jonathan became the president, the secretary to government, top ministerial positions were from Southeast. In fact, some people were brought from abroad to take positions. But let me tell you why there is a problem now. For the first time, 2014, 2015, the North came together. It never happened before. If you look at the history of the country from the 60s, the North was the only region that had clear oppositions in the House. In 1979, when the National Party of Nigeria, MPN, and SCO were at play, MPN, which was considered a northern party, had 5 states out of the 10. The remaining 5 states went to opposition. Great Nigerian People's Party, GNPP, had 2. People's Redemption Party, PRP, had 2. Nigeria People's Party, MPP, had 1. I can't remember the exact figures of the Nigeria Republican Convention, NRC, and the Social Democratic Party, SDP, but it was tending towards 50-50 in favor of NRC in 1992, in 1999, when the People's Democratic Party, PDP, came out of the 19 states in the North. They had 10. The All People's Party, APP, had 9, which is like 50-50. But by the time its North was pushed, when Jonathan came, they got so frightened that they all clustered together and 17 states went one way, which sent a message. As long as we keep frightening the North, it will remain liberal in politics without any sense of disproportion. I can tell you that politically, the North is sophisticated. So don't frighten the North. Approach them and engage them. And this is what they always believe. I will stop this thing here. I will continue reading. Because I have made my point, and the point I tried to make was to let you know that everybody in Nigeria today agreed that the solution for the survival of Nigeria is referendum. Referendum is what will determine if Nigeria is to survive or not. And the question that is thrown to every Nigeria today is this: do we really want to be one as a people in one country? We need to have this discussion. We need to start having this discussion. Do we really want to be together as one people living in the same country? You cannot say you are in one country, but you see each other differently. No, it is not done. It is not going to make any sense at all. You have to first agree that you want to belong to one country with Mazo Ebuchi, because two cannot work until they agree. So if you are going to the east and I'm forcing to the west, that means we are not going to make headway. We are going to get stuck at one place. That is what is happening to Nigeria today. Nigeria have to have they need to have this conversation. Do we really want to be in the same country? And the only way to determine this is through referendum. That is what this man is saying. That is what Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was asking for before the late Buhari and his cabals went after him to kidnap him. So that is how it is, and that is how it has always been. The truth remains that the only way out from all these shenanigans today is through referendum. And we need to have this discussion as soon as possible. First, we need Mazi Nnamdi Kanu need to be freed. Only when Mazi Nnamdi Kanu get out of detention shall we have this discussion. But until then, the same problem we see today, we keep seeing it until something meaningful is done. Those who are in love with Nigeria should continue. And those who said, no, we don't want to be part of this Nigeria, should go and have their country. I have said it before. Don't think for me. Don't cry my cry. Don't cry more than the brief. Let me be the one that will cry when the time comes. Allow me to make this mistake that I'm about to make. But I think, and I still insist, that I will be better off in Biafra than in Nigeria. This is my decision. This is my belief. Allow me to go and make that decision. Let me go and to try. If I fail, let me lick my wound. Don't cry more than the brief. Don't tell me, no, it is a mistake. No, I do not believe. I do not believe, and I will never agree with you, because I must try what I believe. Until then, I will never have a peaceful mind. So forcing me in one Nigeria is a pure mistake, because you can force a horse to the stream. You cannot force a horse to drink a water. That is the truth, and that is the truth. If without Biafrans, Nigeria can survive, and Biafrans also can succeed without Nigeria. But this discussion must hold, which is, are we willing to be part of this union? If we are willing, let us have it and have a discussion how this union should be. If we do not, then let us respect each other's opinion and decisions and let things be. After all, Chukwu Okike Abiama created me a Biafran, first an Igbo man before a Biafran. Therefore, he didn't make any mistake. Allow me to feel who I am. Allow me. If Chukwu Okike Abiama wanted, he would have made me a Fulani man. He would have made me an Hausa man. He would have made me a Yoruba man. He would have made me any of these places. But instead, he created me and made me an Igbo man. And I am proud of that Igbo man. And I don't think I need a Fulani man to be a complete Igbo man. I need a Yoruba man to be a complete Igbo man. I think I have enough people around me to make myself a happy Igbo person. And I think Biafra is, for me, is the best decision to take. And I think I have the right to decide. You don't buy me for that. Don't come for my head for that. Decide what you want to be. You want to be a Nigerian, so be it. But the truth is that we must have this discussion, and we must have it now. So we are winding down now. We are coming to the end of this program. But the point we came this evening is to ask the Nigerian government, under the leadership of Tinubu, to allow Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to go. Because, like I've said before, Nigerian government themselves knew, or rather knows, that it is not, they are not gonna get anything out of this case. They know that it is a game they are playing. They know that there's nothing for them in this issue. There is nothing for them in this case. If Nigerian government had anything against Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, they wouldn't be here after 3 years. Why are we still talking about convicting Mazi, a high-profile case like this, after 3 years? After 3 years, Nigerian government has not prosecuted this case. That means that they don't have what it takes. So they already put Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in jail. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is already serving a jail time without conviction. That is the only way that Nigerian government could get back at him. So Nigerian government understood that if they really come out for this trial to end, that they will not get anything out of it at the same time, at the end of the day. So they have marshaled out, or rather mastered the act of delay, trying to buy enough time, if as many years as they could buy, to make sure that they keep Mazi Nnamdi Kanu in jail, in detention, in perpetuity. And it breaks my heart that those who in the struggle, who supposed to understood this game Nigerian government is playing, and now also, because when you are fighting with somebody, remember, everybody is trying to outdo other. You are trying to get over me, I'm trying to get over you, because we are fighting. So you keep planning, I keep planning. But in the side of those agitators, when I talk about it, I'm talking about the IPOB, because let me tell you this. I am an IPOB, a very proud one for that matter. But the truth is that at IPOB, we have failed Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And the reason we failed Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is not far-fetched. The reason we failed Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is because of envy, greed, jealousy. If we had allowed things to flow the way they should, we wouldn't be talking about IPOB the way we're talking about it. People will not be seeing IPOB the way they see IPOB today. What has IPOB, those Mazi Nnamdi Kanu left IPOB in their hand? What have they been doing since Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is incarcerated? They have been doing nothing. Only fighting, only fighting, only fighting. Nothing more, nothing less. we have indeed disappointed Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. And that is why, one of the reasons I am so proud of IPOB Western Cape. Yes, as IPOB in general, we all disappointed him. But as a zone, we have not. We have been standing on the path that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu laid, and we are following it. Only that we cannot do much. And that is one of the reasons we have this platform. Because this is the only place we are also affecting, or rather effecting our own change, or rather pushing, doing our own things. Because without this media, IPOB Western Cape wouldn't be fighting effectively. But thank God that today we are here to do what we are doing. And I thank everybody who has contributed, who has contributed their fund to make sure that this platform is still on. The Chukwu Okike Abiama grant you success in everything you do. And let us continue to work in understanding. Let us continue to love and make sure that we do away every atom of hatred. Let us fix our eyes on the ball, which is Biafra, knowing fully well that at the end of the day, if we do not restore Biafra, we have failed not only ourselves, but our Creator, Chukwu Okike Abiama. We have failed both our generations and the generations unborn. So the only thing that will make you happy, that will make me happy, is that at the end of these things, Biafra is restored. And that is why I said let us support everybody that is fighting, that is doing anything they are doing to make sure that Biafra is restored. Just like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu said, if you know anything you can do for Biafra to come, do it. That is why in this platform we shall continue to support the Biafra Republic government in exile and the Prime Minister Mazi Simon Ekpa, those who are doing everything necessary to see that Biafra is restored. The reason the discussion is going on today is because of the Biafra Republic government in exile, not because of IPOB, not because of the dogs and wives, not because of them. The reason that you see the discussion going on today in Zoological Republic on whether Mazi Nnamdi Kanu should be released or not is because of the activities of the Biafra Republic government in exile under the leadership of Mazi Simon Ekpa, the Prime Minister. We are proud of him. We are proud of those that are working with him. We are proud of his media warriors. We are proud of them. They are doing excellent job. Look at the so-called IPOB media warrior today and see what I'm telling you. What are they doing? Some of them are resigning. They have the same, Chukwu Okike Abiama is not a child. Whatever you use to measure for others shall be used to measure for you. When they were busy dividing IPOB, they thought that today they have more than 4 groups in their so-called media warrior. Their media. They have so many. There are groups that followed Chibuze Gwat. There are groups that followed Melchizedek. There are groups that followed Darlington. They are divided. And remember, a house that divided against itself cannot stand. That is why we've told you that these people are not fighting for Biafra anymore, but they are fighting for their ego. They are fighting for what they can get. They are fighting for the popularity that they enjoy. They are fighting for the praises that they enjoy. So that is what they are fighting for. They are not fighting for Biafra anymore. They know that they have lost every touch with Biafra. That is why IPOB Western Cape is here. We are standing on this rock. We are not going to be swayed until Biafra is restored. We are going to be where we are until Mazi Nnamdi Kanu comes out, and we shall continue to support Mazi Simon Ekpa and the Biafra Republic government in exile, and we shall continue to also support the Biafra liberation, those who are doing the needful to see that our land is rid of terrorists and the killers of our people. We must be very, very proud of them, and also proud of those who are working. We may not know. You may be working, we don't know, but we are proud of you. As long as you are working in truth and in spirit for Biafra to come, may Chukwu Okike Abiama remember you to bless you with long life and good health, because you need these two things to be able to see and enjoy Biafra. So let us continue believing, keeping faith, hoping, and making decree for Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to be released. Every man who has said whatever they said in the favor of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, whether they mean it or not, it's not important to us. I don't care whether you meant it or you don't meant it. Whatever you said, as long as you said it in favor of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, may Chukwu Okike Abiama hold that word to bring Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and have mercy upon him. We are hoping that very soon he will rejoin us and all this battle will be over. I thank you, fellow Biafrans, for joining me this evening on this program. I always say it is a very, very good time well spent. We do not take your company for granted. We do not take your support, both your moral support, every support you've been giving us. Nothing has been taken for granted. We love you with the same measure of love you have shown to us. And our prayer for you is that you continue to love us and we continue to love you. And remember, here, we do not have permanent friends and we do not have permanent enemies. For you to remain in our good books, you must always remember to speak the truth and be fearless before your enemies. Do not talk about the consequences of speaking the truth. Talk about the consequences of not speaking the truth. Because no matter how it is, the consequences for not speaking the truth outweighs the consequences of speaking the truth. We must believe and understand these things. If we all believe and understand this, we have a better life. And we will have a Biafra that will be equal for all. Like I said, this is the Biafra we are looking for. Biafra where all men shall be seen and treated as equal. Biafra where every problem will be discussed and sorted out. No man in Biafra will be relegated to the back. No man in Biafra will be denied what is due for him. No man in Biafra will be denied his fundamental right. Every right of us, of all, will and shall be protected in Biafra. In Biafra land, our judiciary will not be bought with money. Our justice system will be best and second to none, because it will be justice for all. That is the kind of country we are promising you. That is the Biafra we are talking about. That is why you must pray that you are alive to experience this Biafra. We are not promising you a Biafra without challenges. Yes, we'll have challenges, of course. But one thing we promise you is that every challenges will meet equal reactions. We will not overlook your concerns. We will not see you as nobody. Nobody shall be more important than others. Whether you are a government, whether you are a president or senator or whatever name you parade yourselves, you are nothing but a servant of the people, and you must serve the people. You must be answerable to the people. Whatever duty calls, you must answer, or else you face the consequences of losing not just your political power nor your political rights, but you'll be sent to jail for failing your constituents. Thank you, fellow Biafrans, for listening to me and being part of this family. I'm so glad. And if you have not shared the program, the best thing I want you to do right now is to share this program before we end this program now. Share the program. If you have not liked this program, like it. Do these things. This is the only thing you can do to show that you are in support of this program, that you are a family. I'm part of this family. Share this program, like this program, comment on this program. As you continue to do this, we continue to shower his blessings and love upon you. That being said, we've come to the end of this program. I thank you, lovers of freedom and Biafrans, for listening to us this evening. From me, from here, it is good night.
Speak.